do this. Alrighty then. Okay, we're recording. Good morning, you guys. Thank you so much for being here for this bonus Q&A session. You guys, last week was amazing. The result, I'm hoping that each of you took away some really fantastic information that you can already start to apply, already start to utilize. That was the whole reason behind me doing this. And wow, so many things have come from last week that I just really never saw coming. I think most of you guys, I know I've shared it. So I really, honestly, my realistic goal for this group was 50 people. That was my realistic goal, was 50 people. My pie in the sky goal was 100. And the Friday before we launched, we hit 100. And then all of a sudden we were at 125, and then we were at 150, and then we were at 175, and then we were at 200. And I did the math over the weekend, taking into account all of the people who have now left the group because it's not a good fit for them, and that's okay. I mean, I had conversations with several of them. They were invited and it wasn't what they thought it was. That's fine. That's fine. I only want people here in the group that need what it is that we're talking about in the group. I want to create this community, and you guys are the ones that started that. You guys got all excited and started the tribe mentality, which we're going to talk about. I've already done something about that. Love it. Anyway, I'm also going to be chugging my water because this is my next step. This is my habit stacker that I did this week. So go, girl. All told, we are sitting right at about 300 people that have joined the group. 300, you guys.
Wow.
I was like in tears. I was having a conversation with my coach and I was just about in tears over that. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All of you, I know, invited people. So there are people in this group because of you. Thank you so much for that. Honestly, I think out of the entire group, maybe 50 people are in this group because I personally invited them. That's it. Everybody else came from all y'all. So thank you for that. That is just mind-boggling. So just some yeah, Harvest?
No,
Ronnie's on! Ronnie's in the house. You guys are going to be so sick of me today. I'm wound. And I've only had 1 cup of bulletproof coffee. I have been waiting for this morning. I am so freaking excited. I'm so glad Ronnie's on. Hopefully we see her cute face here in just a hot second. But I want to kind of just touch base again because I don't think you can, I don't think you can share this often enough. I don't want anybody to come back and go, I didn't know. So a couple of housekeeping things. The group will officially close and all of the videos will be archived Friday. Okay, so April 5th, this coming Friday. If you're catching up, if you are inviting, keep inviting people, keep inviting them. The videos are there this Friday. So you've got until Friday night because the first thing I'm going to do when I get up Saturday morning and get in the office is I'm going to archive all videos. Okay, so so there's that. Make sure that you've gotten a chance to watch all the videos because everything is going to go bye-bye the evening of the 5th. The morning of the 5th, mark your calendars, Friday, this Friday, holy cow, it's April.
Yes.
Ridiculousness. Okay, so mark your calendars. This coming Friday, 9 a.m., I'm going to go live in the group one last time. And I'm announcing prizes for who invited, not invited, but who invited the most people that actually are participating, that are in the group, okay? Also going to be, of course, giving away a prize for the most engaged person. And then, of course, our cheerleader award. Okay, so pay attention. Who I know, woohoo, cheerleader award, and that's voted on. That's chosen by you guys, all of you. So please private message me and let me know your vote. Well, there are 3 that are in the running so far. So please private message me and tell me not only who you want as the cheerleader award, but I want to know why. I want to know what it is about that person that you really see in them, because when I announce this award, I want to be able to quote some of you within the group so that they know how you perceive them. Oh, that's just good stuff. Okay. Let's see. I think I already shared with you guys, but I want it mentioned on the recording. I apologize. I wasn't clear on this. I did. As a matter of fact, I didn't even make the connection. I had a couple of people that reached out to me. They were concerned that this would replace their bonus session, and it does not. This is the whole group interactive live Q&A. For those of you that still have a bonus session on the books, it's yours. So don't think that because you're participating in this means that you don't get your Q&A, or excuse me, your bonus session. That being said, the last available time that I will be holding bonus sessions is Friday the 12th, because on Monday the 15th, the 6-week course starts for those of you that want to take the next step. And there's a lot of time that I have that's already blocked out. So I'm going to be out of town Monday and Tuesday. So those are not available time slots at all. The only thing I'm going to do when I'm on my little vacation to go see the grandkids is I'm going to do my coffee with Krista, 10:30 on Tuesday, because I get to interview one of my coaches, Sean Q. I'm so stoked. So other than that, I'm going to be, and I'm also, I think most of this coming Friday is completely gone as well, and most of next Friday. So very limited time. So those of you that have not scheduled your bonus session and want to take advantage of it, get on there and book it ASAP, pretty please. So I'll make sure and have that time locked in for you. Let's see. Anything else? You guys have any questions about that? And I'm not going to have anybody, well, I'm not muting everybody, so y'all just like wave your hands and shout out. So no questions, we're good?
No, I'm good.
No questions.
Did somebody say they had a question?
Nope.
Nope, we're good. Okay. So, okay, all the rest of the stuff we're going to talk about at the end, because we got some really cool stuff you guys are going to love. I'm so freaking excited about it. So it is now Q&A time, and here's another thing that I did. Of course, I had mentioned to everybody, to go ahead and PM me, or pick me for those that wanted to be coached live. And again, I think a lot of people thought, oh gosh, that means I don't get my bonus session, and there are things I want to ask her that are private. Again, that is so my fault. If anybody thought that, that's on me. I apologize. I totally apologize. But I've got 2 of you that are on here today. Harvest, I think you messaged me and wanted to do live coaching, and Janaea, please tell me I'm saying your name right. It is.
You are. I'm so shocked you got that right.
Oh, I can hear you. I'd like to see you. Can I see your face?
You can, but I'm driving to work. I felt like that was irresponsible.
She's so cute.
Let's see.
Okay. Well, oh, and she just muted herself. So whenever we get ready to do the live coaching, can I get your cute face on here?
And I said pick me too.
Oh, you said pick me too. Oh, this may just be a whole big coachy thing. I'm so sorry. I did not anticipate this big of a group, and I'm trying to stay caught up with everything, but holy buckets. So yes, so we're just going to coach. This is what we're going to do. So how do you guys feel about this? Because it's a nice small group. How do you feel about, instead of doing the specific Q&A, or excuse me, the specific coaching, what if I blend some of the questions into the Q&A, you Q&A me and I Q&A you?
I like the interaction idea.
You like the interaction idea?
Yeah,
thumbs up.
I work better that way.
Faces. Okay, Christy, does that work for you too?
I guess.
Okay, I love her. Sure. Yeah, for just about anything. I love it. Okay.
I'll tell you if it doesn't.
So here's the thing. That's what we're going to do. So, Janaea, I hope that works for you too. So as soon as, whenever you've got questions or anything, if you can talk to us, great. If not, you're welcome to go ahead and post in the Zoom chat, because I've got it right up here so I can read everybody's comments. And as you guys, if I'm engaged in a conversation with Angela and Harvest, you have a question, so you don't forget it. If you want to throw it up in the messenger, or if you want to comment, just to streamline it for people who are watching the recording later, if you want to comment, you know, like you guys do on my regular lives, you know, the hashtags and all that fun stuff, go for it. Fair?
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, so who wants to ask the first question? Oh, Janaea does. You're on, girl.
All right, I'm on.
Okay, so what question do you want to get kicked off?
Ooh, the tough one. Prepare for this.
Oh, and honey, I can barely hear you.
Is it hard? My microphone might not be too great.
That's much better. Whatever you just did, much better.
Okay.
Okay, so what's your question?
Well, I guess my biggest question, so I am an influencer on Instagram. That's my big thing I'm doing right now. And I have so much going on. It's so hard to delegate everything. You kind of talked about that a little bit, but I kind of want to know how to fit in my everyday schedule, because I am a unifier. So I want to know how to kind of fit that into my schedule on top of wanting everyone else to be happy.
Okay, so let me make sure that I understand your question. Your innate is that unifier personality. So of course everybody else comes first. You are an influencer on Instagram. Can I ask, honey, how many followers do you have?
I have almost 1,500.
Sweet.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So you're wanting to find, if I understand you, you're wanting to figure out how to kind of find that balance and that sense of harmony between showing up on Instagram and doing what it is that you do, and also being able to be there for the other people in your life. Am I understanding you?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about, when you say showing up for the other people in your life, tell me, what does that look like for you? Who are the people that are the most important to you that you feel that sometimes work gets in the way of spending time with them?
That would definitely be my significant other. I feel like he does a great job of letting me do it, but at times it's hard for me to balance both of them, and so I feel like he gets shoved to the side a little bit sometimes, and I think that he kind of feels that way too, but doesn't say anything. So
got it. So this is what my suggestion would be. This is something that I actually, oh man, I started using this years ago, and this is actually one of the list of about 15 different tools we're going to be diving into and helping you utilize for you in the 6-week course. Is one of the smartest things that I ever did with my family. And keep in mind, I have 6 kids. Okay, so whether you have your significant other, or you have a whole posse, or whatever that looks like, whatever your other people are, those of you especially that are unifiers, especially, is one of the greatest things for me was being able to find out what was important to them. Does that make sense?
yeah.
So, I mean, as you know, as a significant other, in that relationship, and even whether it's with our kids or our extended family, our siblings, whatever that would look like for each of us, is it fair to say that each of us kind of, whether it's internally, societally, whatever, we just assume that this is what's important to the people in my life?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So one of the smartest things I ever did was I sat down. This was clear back when I was in direct selling. This was forever ago. This is probably 12 years ago.
Wow.
I sat down with each one of my kids, and I sat down with my husband, and I needed to know, if they could only have me engaged for one thing a day, what would that be? What's the most important thing? Now, with it being you and your significant other, then it's, what are the times that it's most important for you and I to be together, or whatever the love language looks like. whatever the whatever that looks like for him, because is he a unifier creator? Do you know what he is?
He's a director.
Oh, he's a director. Okay.
Yes.
Well, of course he is, because opposites attract. So yes, time is a big deal to him. He doesn't like to have his time wasted, and he wants his time to be effective. So find out what times that are the most important to him, and just be prepared. It may not be what you think it is. I know for me, when I sat down and had a conversation with my kids, I just assumed that they needed me to be at every practice and pick them up after school and dinner at the table and on and on and on and on and on, all of these things. And I came to find out that just simply, honestly, wasn't true. And it made my life a lot easier. It simplified things a whole lot because I wasn't stretching myself too thin. I really dive into unifier with my family. I really, really dive into that because I'm a creator and then unifier and director more at work and unifier more at home, or I was until I shifted a little bit, and now I'm shifting back. So find out what's important to them.
Okay.
And then, and keep in mind, he's a director. Honoring that is a big stinking deal, which means if you set aside this time to go out to dinner or go to a movie or just sit and watch TV together, don't you dare touch your phone. Don't, because that is disrespectful, and directors, above all else, they want respect. I just got an amen from one of the directors.
Oh yeah, that is
amen. Does that help?
Yeah, no, I feel like that's really great advice, and I feel like it's a very simple way to figure it out without trying to overthink it.
Awesome. Yeah, and here's the thing, it's so easy. We're all too close to our own situation. We really are. I mean, that's just the way that it is. We're all too close. Hey, Stacy, welcome, honey. So we're just way too close to our own situation, and that allows us to, depending upon left brain, right brain, whatever, we're either going to overthink it and miss the point, or we're not going to give it the focus that it needs. And same thing, and we're going to miss the point. So yeah, the smartest thing that I can tell you to do is ask and find out. And it's everything boils down to communication. Everything boils down to communication. So hopefully that helps.
That helps a ton. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, honey, you're so welcome. So next question. You guys have any input on that? Does that make sense? Oh, hey, you know what, guys? Really quickly, #live. Those of you that are on live, those of you that are watching the replay, #replay, because I'm going to go back. This is going to be uploaded into our group as soon as we wrap up here today. And that way I know, that way when I go back and look, I mean, obviously I know you're live because you're here, but that way I can go back and see who all's been able to check out the replay. And as you have comments, please go ahead and add the comments in, and I'm trying to pay really good attention to them. So yeah, so next question, I'm glad that helped.
Yeah.
Okay guys, don't all jump in at once. Who's next? Callie, are you next?
I've got one.
Am I saying your name right, honey?
It is Callie.
Oh,
yes,
good.
Yeah.
I was more terrified of Janaea, and it's like I'll probably.
It's a hard one.
I would screw up the simple name, because I would. So, what's your question, my dear?
So I have 3 questions, but the most important one right now is, how do you get that 1 hour at night without tech? My husband likes to watch TV. I wrote it down on reading.
No, please. I'm glad.
Likes to watch TV until bedtime. And I usually let him leave and chill for a while on my own after we're done watching the TV. And he crawls into bed and I get there and I still putter around and whatever. But I'm not sure how to do the hour.
Can you do 30 minutes?
Yeah, I can do 30 minutes.
Okay, then do 30 minutes. And here's even the most important question. Do you struggle falling asleep or staying asleep?
I do.
Okay. Then it's important to detect, because that fuels it. That makes it worse. And if you can at least get 30 minutes, then get 30 minutes. The key is to do what you can. And again, it's communication. It's having that conversation with your hubby and saying, you know what, honey, I know that we really like to do this together, but I got to be honest, I'm not sleeping well. And I know part of it is me being in front of the TV. I don't suppose we could come to a compromise. It's always about communication. It's always about, you know, talking and saying, you know, what's fair for the two of us.
You know, one thing that we do that's been very important in our marriage is we do a devotional together every night.
Oh, I love that.
And so, you know, it depends on what we're doing, because I get to pick the books because I'm the bookaholic in the family. And so I'm always finding a new devotional to use.
Nice.
And you know, anyway, it's so that's one thing we always do together. You know, we have our nighttime prayers together. But anyway, yeah.
Awesome. Hey, something just popped in my head I want to share with you guys. Is anybody a big podcast person?
Yes.
Anybody like podcasts? Okay. For those of you that are in, well, if whether you have a significant other, you're married, whatever that looks like, I would really encourage you to check out Legendary Marriage. It's Danielle and Justin Williams. They're dear friends of mine. I met them through the Christian Entrepreneurs Academy. They're actually going to be my guests on Coffee with Krista coming up. I want to say May 2nd, May something. I want to say May.
So is a podcast?
Oh, May 7th. It's a podcast.
So
What were their names again?
Danielle and Justin Williams, and the name of their podcast is Legendary Marriage. And they are awesome. They are dear friends. I met them last November at the retreat, and Justin is a personality expert, as am I. Different assessments, just he and I we love to debate in a really fun way, and Danielle has got the biggest heart. They're just fabulous people. They're funny and they're engaging. They've got a couple of kiddos, and they're very real people. So those of you that are in a relationship and on your list of goals is improving your relationship, I would definitely listen to them. They're pretty awesome. So, and if you jump in and you make a comment or anything, if you're listening to their podcast, give me a shout out and say, hey, we have a friend in common. Krista told me to check you guys out, because they're awesome.
So is a podcast, is that an iPhone thing, or is there an app that we have?
No, there's an app. If you have, like, I'm a Samsung chick, as those of you that were on earlier know. What's my audio program I use? I use Audios. Castbox.
Say that
I
again?
use Castbox. They're on iTunes. I use Castbox, but you can search for it and you can find it on pretty much any platform
Oh, okay.
for podcasts, and then you can follow it. So, and they interview other couples. So some of their podcasts are them having a conversation about something, but they also bring on amazing couples and interview them as well. So yeah, so they're pretty fun. I would recommend it. Okay, so did that help a little bit? For question number 1, did that help?
A little. You know, it's like you were talking yesterday about Friday about baby steps, and how to, maybe I add 5 minutes every day for something. But yeah.
Well, and a lot of the implementing a lot of these tools it's going to be baby steps. It's going to take time, and it's going to take trial and error, because you're going to try some things that maybe don't fit very well. You're going to try some things that maybe, I don't want to say are too advanced, but maybe they're a little bit further ahead of where you currently are. And so, there's a reason that I have the course coming up, because we barely scratched the surface in these 5 days. I mean, it was meat and potatoes, and I did my very best to bring tons of value, but I'm telling you, it's literally the beginning. So, so I'm glad, you know, just try it for a few days. You and I talk when? Wednesday?
We talked tonight.
Oh, do we talk tonight? Oh, we do. My calendar's full. We do talk tonight. Who was I thinking? Oh, I was thinking of Christy. Christy and I talk Wednesday. Sorry. Yeah, remind me. Let's talk more about that when we chat later today. Fair enough?
Good.
Okay, so let's tackle question number 2. I know that you messaged them, but just go ahead and ask them in the group. That way people don't have to look them up.
So my way back to Tuesday or whenever we were talking about the personality test, you were saying, how can I be a 14 as director? You thought I might be being adaptive, but I really have my energy there.
Okay.
I like being in control and being bossy. And I'm just coming to realize that my bossiness and control isn't extroversion, but I actually force myself out of the introvert to do some of that. And so I've taken the test twice, and I ended up 14 twice on the director. So I came out 12 on the the S1
Sequencer.
Yeah.
So very, very heavily left-brained, which makes total sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have an accounting job. I mean,
But wasn't, now remind me, because I've looked at so many test scores in the last day, wasn't your creator like a 2 and your unifier was an 8?
it's the other way around.
Okay. So the creator.
My creator was like a 9, and my unifier was a 2.
Okay, then because here's the thing. When you're scoring relatively high in multiples, the easiest way to probably pinpoint your innate is to look at the lowest score. Because your lowest score, what's opposite of it, is typically your innate wiring.
Okay,
Does that
so
make sense? So since your lowest score is your unifier, it does totally make sense, especially when you've got 2 that are really, really close to one another. All that says is that you're more than likely your wiring is director, and then and this is something we didn't get to talk about this at all, was the managed personalities and how they complement that innate personality, and that's something we're going to spend 2 weeks doing this. Is by being able to understand how they complement and how to utilize them, how to actually develop them. So you definitely lean more towards that sequencer in the different roles that you've taken on, but your creator is still pretty strong if it's an innate.
Well, I think that's, I don't have it in front of me right now, but.
Okay, so what's the question attached to that so I can make sure that I answer that?
I just wanted to make sure that, how do I know if I'm adapting versus innating?
Your innate's going to be director. And everything else is adaptive. And here's the thing, adaptive isn't bad. That's what we do. It's overly adapting in some way, shape, or form. And what we're going to really jump into. So I talked about the kite, that ideal personality versus the overly adapted. Yeah, didn't even have time to talk about that in the 5-day group. But when you're able to identify where you might be overly adapted, then you can start to create what it would look like to start to step out of that. Because that over adaptation into, especially if it's a cross brain, which for you it doesn't it is at all. If you're a 2 in the unifier, then you should be fine. But for those of us that are very over adapted in one area, it's being able to recognize what pieces of that, even if it's a manageable, if it's something that's a manageable personality trait that complements that innate piece of you. If the number is still really, really high, like a 12 sequencer, there may be areas that we can identify and help you block whether it's working in your work schedule, your personal schedule, whatever that, however it shows up for you, so that it doesn't deplete your energy as much.
Yeah, see, I think I've adapted into the unifier because I'm the fixer of the family.
Well, and here's the thing. Unifiers adapt outwards. Unifiers will take the role, because they're the peacekeepers, they will take the role of a creator, a director, or a sequencer if they need to, or if they feel they need to. In that unifier personality is where codependence lives. And that's not good, bad, right, wrong, but that's the space where it lives. And so for any of us that have been in a codependent relationship, or have felt like, we have to do something for other people, so there may be a little bit of over adaptiveness for you. Oh, I'm excited to talk today.
Anyway, we can talk later.
But yeah, but this is good information for everybody, so that's why I'm sharing it. So does that make sense? Being able to know that, oh, okay, well, maybe I'm tapping into that sequencer a little too much, and there might be activities that are sequencer related that, even though they're manageable for you, if you're too dialed into them, they can start to deplete your energy.
Yeah.
That makes sense? Okay, cool. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Yes, kind of makes sense?
That
Okay.
totally helps me too.
Awesome. Say that again, Janaea.
So that totally helps me out too.
Oh, good. Okay. So, Callie, question number 3, and then we're going to see who's next.
Okay. So I have a cluttered house.
Okay.
Because during my work time, I use all my energy at work, and I come home and just, and so my house suffers. My husband
really
doesn't
quickly,
believe-
I'm going to interrupt you really quickly. When you're at work, is that where you're tapping into your sequencer?
Yes, probably.
Okay. Okay, we can fix that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm a property manager.
Oh,
So I-
Louise. Yeah.
So I deal with people. The fire that was at the Indian store on Overland is one of our properties.
Really?
Oh.
Saw it in the news this week.
Yes.
Anyway, so, and I'm trying to retire, and my boss isn't letting me, kind of, because he hasn't hired a replacement.
Mhm. You're just too valuable.
So, anyway, so I come home to this cluttered house, and what do I do as my baby steps as I'm trying to clear out a space for me? Because everybody was showing these marvelous spaces, and I have, right now I'm in my recliner, and that's my cleanest spot.
Okay, so,
Oh, and I've got to share somebody.
aw, oh, look at that face. So
This is
two
me.
things. Number one, if that recliner is the least cluttered area, if it's nice and organized and clean, then I want you to claim that as your spot. And I want you to one of the things I would definitely suggest is to be able to get, whatever makes you feel, are you more visual, kinesthetic?
Kinesthetic.
Very kinesthetic. Okay, so have like your favorite cozy blankie, and have things that make that feel like it's your space. And
I have my blankie. I've got my colored pencils on this side. We got it's a double recliner with space for the bottle, cup holders, and I've got a place for my computer where I can keep it closer. Anyway.
is there anything that you think you could add to that space that would bring you a little, even more joy being in it?
Oh. I wish I could open the windows, but we keep the window shades down because they glare on the TV.
Yeah, but when you're having your time, TV's not.
Yeah, and No, the TV's not on when I'm having my time.
Well, pull up the
So-
blinds when you're down there having your own time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So think of some things that you could do to even take that up a notch for you, so that you feel really, really comfortable. The second thing that I would really encourage you to do is to help you formulate your baby steps. Go into each room, each space in your home, get a notebook, and just, here's what I want you to write down: the things that bug you. Write a what bugs me list. Like an all-inclusive, every single thing you can think of. Like even in my space, in my office, and it's immaculate, there are still things in here that bug me. But here's the thing, it's the little things that will drive you absolutely crazy. So go into each one of your spaces, write down what bugs you. Not just it's cluttered, but I have a pile of clothes in the corner that I want to donate. Write down every specific thing that bugs you about that space. And then as a part of your personal time, create a tiny window. It could be maybe Friday after work or Saturday afternoon or something, and carve out just 1 hour and pick one of those things and do it. Just one thing. Because here's what I know to be true. Those of us, and I've been there, I have lived in absolute chaos and clutter. Like, I mean, I'm sure yours is just cluttered, but I mean, mine was like codependent, alcoholic, abusive husband, chaotic, couldn't see the floor, crazy, okay? Is you didn't just wake up and have a cluttered house. Amen?
Amen.
Those of us that deal with a cluttered, you don't wake up and have a cluttered space. Unless you're my 19-year-old.
Yes, go over here.
But we get in the mindset of, I'm going to clean the whole thing tomorrow. And it's completely overwhelming, and it's not possible. So extend yourself a whole lot of grace and say, I'm going to spend 30 minutes, or I'm going to spend 1 hour, or I'm going to take 10 minutes and clean a drawer. I don't know what it is. It's that baby step mentality of what's one little thing I could do today to make one little space.
I was trying to figure out what was the question.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Awesome. Does that help?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So anybody else, does that help?
I've experienced that. I work for people and their lives are like a total disaster. And I'm like, man, this place is driving me crazy. I can't wait to get home and get out of it. And I go home, I'm like, man, maybe I'll be like picking up your own shit before you start getting uptight about other people's.
Well, and here's the thing, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned it at some point this last week, as within, so without. So everything around us is nothing more than a physical manifestation of what's going on right here. It really is, and what's going on right here. And so when we have chaos and disorganization, mind, body, soul, it's going to show up somehow. Okay, it can be clutter in your house. Maybe your car looks like, a teenager drives it, okay, and it's full of crap and whatnot. It could be your office space at work. It could be whatever. I mean, it'll show up in your relationships. It'll show up physically. It'll show up all over the place. So you didn't wake up like that. None of us just wake up in chaos. It doesn't work like that. We actually give it time to grow and to multiply and to build. So you've got to kind of step out of it the same way. So just one piece at a time. And then celebrate it. If all you get done one day is cleaning out a drawer, throw a freaking dance party.
And that.
Okay? Just be excited, be happy. Just be like, oh my gosh. Because guess what? Yesterday, that drawer was a hot mess, and today it looks great.
Right.
And then one thing that works for me, because this is where around the house is where my visual really kicks in. When I would start to feel frustrated, I would walk down. It was a drawer in my kitchen. This was forever ago. I would walk down, open the door, and just look at it and go, I got this. And close the door and go back and do what I needed to do. So celebrate it, even though it might seem silly or insignificant. You guys, it's not. It's training your brain to believe that you can accomplish something.
Mhm.
So even though it might seem silly or, and some of the things that I'm really comfortable in this space, it's me. I'm comfortable in any space telling people, oh yeah, I'll celebrate a clean drawer. I've got no problem telling people that. But you know what? Not everybody is like that. Okay. It doesn't have to be some big public thing. Just go do something for you. You don't even have to tell your spouse
Right.
or your kids. Just, it's you. Enjoy it for you. Fair enough?
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Who's next? Who has a question?
Okay, so I'll go.
Okay, Harvest darling.
Okay, my world has been so kind of upside down lately that I didn't even remember to post questions to you. So,
well, and it was I just wanted questions posted if they weren't going to be here live.
Okay.
So no worries. You're fine.
Okay.
You're fine.
So it's just more of a struggle of where I'm at to know how to try and direct tools for helping. So end of middle-ish of January, I committed to stepping into a new level with my direct sales business. That group would start in March, like end of February, early March, 6-week session kind of things. Well, the end of January, my husband took a job out of the area.
Right, you told me.
So yeah, so we don't he doesn't do that because it's a big difficulty being away from home for an extended period of time. And I did not get married to be a single wife. That's not the goal. And so he has been doing this out of town job since the end of January. So he leaves for a week every week, and he comes home on the weekends. That has hit such, and I did not wear makeup today on purpose because I figured I might cry, just for those of you that, yeah. So,
you're horrible, no matter what.
So I've found that it is such a deep emotional struggle that if I make a list and I have assignments like that in reference to my business, I can do those things because they're very hands-on, tangible, for the most part, non-emotional. And I can get them done. I can post them. I can be participating in my group in that avenue, but that's the end of it. So when you stated that all of our beliefs hit an emotional thread, I was like, I wanted to just do a hashtag shut up, but I chose not to. Because the emotions are such a difficult thing for me to deal with and to resonate with, because it's been such a difficult place of safety to be in my world. And I have an amazing husband where it's safe, and a lot of emotions came up early in our marriage that I had shelved and stuffed because of a lack of safety. So now I'm in a place of safety, but now that he's going away for a week and coming home on the weekends, and then going away for a week and then coming home on the weekends, it has unleashed a whole Pandora's box of emotion that I don't know how to explain. I don't know how to deal with. And so it has, I don't know how to function through that to even address my business. And it's just derailed my train in such huge ways, and I have no idea why. I don't know how to function through that, to deal with it, or to address it, to do business barely even day. So with being like the director of 10, which when I did the test twice, it was still director of 10, creator of 11 went down to 6, sequencer of 10 went down to 8, unifier of 14 went down to 9. So I'm still overly adapted. But if it's not emotional, I can do it. If it hits emotion, I don't want anything to do with it. And so I'm not sure how to navigate that, to function with the tools that you're giving me, to function with the tools that I know I already have. I feel like my toolbox is empty. So how do I navigate that, if that's an option of discussion? to function in even getting into my business.
So, okay, you little Miss Left Brainer. This is something we are going to talk about when it's your bonus session. I dive into it because I have some very specific questions that I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
But I fear that it will flood tears on both sides. So I want that to be, because you and I've done that. So I want you and I to have that piece of the conversation, but let me give you at least some framework. Is that fair?
Yes.
I'll give you some framework. I don't want to dive into the emotional part of it because we'll literally be on here the rest of the day. And now we get to see Ronnie's beautiful face and Janae's beautiful face. So I want to be able to talk to everybody. So let me just give you just some simple parameters. Okay. Some simple, okay. So if I'm hearing you correctly, right now it's simpler, not easy, because easy implies little or no effort. It's simpler for you to move into those left brain activities so that you can knock them out. It's the emotion that seems to be holding you back from being able to complete those. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay. So I know that you've said that you have just this, Pandora's box, I believe is the term you use when it comes to your emotions. What are the ones that seem to be the most predominant and the ones that seem to derail you from what work activity needs done?
Well, typically, today was such a grace of God, because I cried very minimally before Brian left. But typically, it's just a deep gut-wrenching, the day, the world is not going to be good. And that I just don't, it's hard to attribute a single emotion. It's just so unending at that moment. Getting through the rest of the week, I get through the week, but I have zero desire to do anything, zero drive to do anything. And I try and pick out, we've been learning, where does my energy really become amplified? When I have to do things on my own, and it's not that I haven't, I was a single mom for 7, 8, whatever years. I was also a single married wife for 18 years. But knowing that I can do it on my own is different when I don't have someone that I'm relying on. So when I'm relying on someone else, I find that I put myself in a place of weakness because I'm relying on someone else instead of being strong enough to do it by myself. And so I've attributed some emotional need in a direction that I am now needing.
Okay, so let's do this. Tell me how this feels. What I would like to see you do is leverage some of the yucky unifier stuff that's coming up that's making you feel a little like a hot mess. I would love for you to leverage some of that.
Okay.
And be able to use it to fuel the director piece until we really get down to the brass tacks of your exact wiring and where things are coming from.
Okay.
So here's what I will suggest. As a unifier, you live for others. So what could be 3 things that when you accomplish them, you can celebrate by sharing that with Brian when he gets home?
Okay, so we still are not unpacked from moving in 5 months ago. And I realize I can't accomplish all of that in a week because I've not done it in months.
Because you can't. So what is there?
Like a box or something like that I can unpack.
It can be as small as a box. It can be as big as a room or a closet or a whatever. So choose, from a personal perspective, choose something that you can do that you can commit to yourself to accomplishing by the end of the week when Brian gets home, so you can tell him, I am so excited this happened. I want you to create some wins. Teeny tiny, itty bitty, holy crap, I'm starting to believe I can do this wins.
Right.
Okay? So from a personal perspective, that's one thing that you can do. What's something from a professional perspective? Because you and Brian are a team. with your Advocare group. So what's something that you can accomplish professionally without him being there that the two of you can celebrate when he gets home? No matter how small or seemingly insignificant, it's the significance lies in the fact that you're now that it's going to help you believe for bigger, and it's going to allow you to start to do more. So even if that's the only win, it doesn't have to be some big tangible dollar amount, whatever crapola. It can be, it's the belief. That's the biggest win for you.
Right. So in that, because my business is relational, I need to be out of my four walls, which has been a challenge a lot lately. So probably on a professional level, whether I hit the mall or the village or something of that sort, I can actually find a location to go to and start up a conversation with someone. And if it goes towards Advocare, great. If it doesn't, that's fine too. I mean, that's
it's the activity. It's the activity. Activity always breeds results. Maybe not out of the gate, but activity always breeds results.
Right.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to suggest is the third thing. So number one, you're going to unpack something, clean something, whatever that looks like. Number two, you're going to get out, be seen, get engaged with people and start having conversations. And number three, I want you to have an element of self-care.
Okay.
So think of something that you can do just for you that will help you feel more like you again. No matter how small, how seemingly insignificant, it's a big deal. Does that help?
Yes.
Awesome. Amen. Does that help anybody else? Because I totally get it. I totally get being in that space of complete overwhelm and what that can feel like. So awesome. I hope that helps, Harvest. And we're going to talk a lot more. We're going to talk a lot more about that. Okay. We're going to talk a whole lot more about mindset and starting to turn that corner. So, okay, guys, who's next? And I did block out until 10:30. So those of you that are looking at the time going, oh crap, I did, like I told you, I blocked out till 10:30. So who is next? We haven't heard from Angela. We haven't heard from Ronnie. We haven't heard from Stacy or from Christy. I will call on you.
Ronnie, pick me.
Pick me, Angela, darling. What's your question?
You know, what I'm really struggling with is my empty conversations that I have with people. I mean, I'm interested in people, but sometimes it just goes wah, 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 wah. You know, and it's like, and it's not that they're not telling me something important. When they're telling me something important and meaningful, I'm tuned in. But when it's just like the weather, I'm thinking about somebody else that I need to, you know, help or pay attention to, or my own selfish things I would rather be doing. And so that's like really a downfall of mine. I cringe at even thinking about having people over at my house for a dinner, you know? So I'm like looking at my personality thing. I'm like, I'm definitely a creator, but I'm an introvert because I get overwhelmed with too much people.
Yeah, me too.
Much situation. And so I'm like, but I'm not really a director, but I'm more, you know, on the unifier. I understand that, you know, relationships are important to me and no conflict. I am a peacemaker. You know, I will like, is everybody comfortable? Because it's making me uncomfortable till everybody's comfortable, right? That kind of business. But walking into, you know, cross training and trying to change my own selfish right front brain, I guess, is a struggle for me. How do I best identify how I need to shift my gear to connect with that person or shift my gear to connect over here and then like switch everything over to there? I'm really struggling with quick identification of that person, I need to turn on this switch or this switch. Practice? I mean, what years? You've been doing this for years. Maybe it's so easy to say, oh, I can tell you you're like playing with your hair. I know exactly the kind of personality you are, right? But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. And being able to, you know, sit across the table from someone and have a conversation and know what their hot buttons are, how to gain their trust, how to connect with them, etc. Yes, that's incredibly important. That's actually what that piece is going to be in the 6-week course. So I'm going to teach you how to identify different personalities. However, let me ask you some more specific questions about, the people that when they talk about the weather you want to tune out. Personalities aside, here's my question. It sounds to me, and I don't think it's selfish. I think it's having the right priorities. It sounds to me like what you're saying is that how do I get out of conversations that are superficial, that are not, that, because I'm the same way. I'm not a chit chat, how's the weather person. If I'm going to have a conversation with you, and that's part of our unifier piece, we want it to be deep and meaningful. We want to get to know them.
Meat and potatoes. Let's get some meat and potatoes out of this, right?
Exactly. And and some people are just not going to connect like that, and that's okay. So I think even first and foremost, before understanding who's across the table from you and how you can connect with them on a deeper level, I think first and foremost, we need to talk about how to feel like you're in control of a conversation. Is that fair?
Okay.
So one of the things that I've done, because as creators, who are my creators again? Creators, we have a tendency to, we just don't have filters sometimes, and yeah. And so we're the ones who are just like, people can tell that we're like, oh, shut up. We don't want to talk to you anymore. So, and each personality has that element. Unifiers are undetectable because they feel it's their obligation. But for those of us that are creators, nobody is meaner with their words than a creator. And we're sarcastic, we think we're funny, and if we're talking to a sequencer, it doesn't end well. So is it fair? Do we want to have a quick conversation on what does it look like to be the person in control of a conversation?
Yeah, let's do it. I think everybody's okay with
let's
do it.
So quick qualifying question. These superficial conversations, are these people that you've intentionally scheduled a meet with to discuss business or anything? Tell me, give me an example, and I'll show you how to frame it.
No, just casual conversations with friends or acquaintances. I'm a time waster, but I'm not about anybody else wasting my time.
Got it. Okay, so are these phone calls or bumping into people like out and about?
Phone calls. It's like my friend will say, well, let's set aside time to talk tomorrow. I'm like, okay.
Okay. So
it starts to go like,
here are your answers. Number one, when you answer, thank you God for caller ID. When you answer a friend's phone call, okay, so one of two options. Either do not answer them, let them go to voicemail, and block out a time in your schedule when you're going to return all your phone calls, which I do. I see Ronnie's going, oh yeah. Because here's the thing. Creators are chatty Cathys. And we'll be annoyed as crap about it the whole entire time, but we'll still do it. Okay?
I don't like it when people ignore my phone calls. I want to talk to them when I need to talk to them, but when they want to talk to me about nothing, it's like,
oh, right? What's wrong with people? No. So you can do one of two things. You can either just not answer any personal calls and schedule a time on your calendar depending upon, when is your energy going to be right to do that, so it doesn't deplete you, or if it does deplete you, push it down to 4 or 5 o'clock or whatever that would look like for you. You can do that, or you can answer the phone like this. Hey, Angela, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you called. I'm just walking out the door. I have a meeting. What's up?
Make it quick. Tell me what you got going on. I am in a hurry. I got things to do.
Yeah, trust me. I have a very long list of people that I answer the phone. Hi, honey, what's going on? Oh, I wanted to see what you were up to. I got about 30 seconds because I'm walking out the door, but I didn't want to miss your call.
Yep.
And here's the thing. I'm not saying lie. I'm not lying, because in 30 seconds, I have a meeting with me. I have work to do. That's not a lie. Because I got called on the carpet by a left brainer one day. That's not honest. Yes, it is. I do have an appointment. It's with me, my date book, and my computer.
That's right.
See, if I work in an office, if I'm in a regular office environment, you can't get a hold of me. But you think that because I work from home, you can call me anytime you want to.
Right.
So that's one thing to do is put yourself in a position, come up with a couple of easy go-to catchphrases.
Yeah.
That you can just say, yeah, I've got a meeting scheduled in 30 minutes. I got to prep for it. I've got a client call coming up. I've got 30 seconds. What's up? I'm getting ready to walk out the door to go to a networking group. What's going on?
Yeah.
And then, oh, I just wanted to chat. I would love to chat. Can I give you a call back later today, or can you text me sometimes and let's put something on the calendar?
Yeah.
And I do that with literally everybody. I even do this with my kiddos. And now here's the deal. I've got 3 kiddos out of state. My kiddos call me and I will answer unless I am sitting on Zoom, or I am, because one of them actually called a few minutes ago, unless I'm sitting in a Zoom session, unless I'm with a client, unless I am in a group coaching scenario. If you and I are out having a cup of coffee and one of my kids calls, I will say, excuse me, may I take this? It's my kid. Because Harvest and I have done it. And then it's, hey kiddo, I'm sitting right here. I'm in an appointment. Is it an emergency? No, Mom, I just wanted to hear your voice. Groovy. I will call you back after 3. How does that sound? Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, because they don't know what an emergency is.
Exactly. I mean, I think, you know, as moms, there's that one time you didn't get the call and you'll never do that again. So especially when I spent this June, I will get to celebrate 1 whole year without a pregnant daughter. I've had nothing but pregnant kids now for Maddie's 7. So, you know, I'm like, my phone is in front of me. I want to give you my full attention, but I have a kid who could go into labor at any minute and I'm going to get it when they, and nobody's going to tell you no. Hey, and if they do, that's on them.
Right.
So frame the conversation in a way where you have control over it. Or just don't answer them and then block out time that you can call them later, or a combination of both. I go back and forth depending upon what it is. Sometimes for me, if I'm having an office day, because we all know I'm not a sequencer, if I'm having an office day, I'll answer friends' phone calls just because it's a shift in my day, because creators like a lot of variety. So for me, I can get up, walk around and get a little energized on the phone with them, maybe talk for 2 or 3 minutes and say, hey, I'm right in the middle of a project, but I got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you know what? Let's go meet for coffee, and then we'll book a time or whatever. And then it's like, I got to get back to work, but I'm so glad you called me. And then I can get back to work because I got to take a brain break. So, and we're gonna talk a lot about that when it comes to that weekly plan sheet and your energy level and all the common threads that we've been talking about all week long. We actually spend a good 1 to 2 weeks of the 6-week course getting really, really, really specific on that, so that you've got your own formula. Does that help? Did that help a little bit?
Yeah, it did.
Awesome. Fantastic. Who's next? Ronnie, do you have a question? Christy, do you have a question? Stacy, do you have a question?
Nobody.
You know,
I don't really have a specific question.
Hi, honey. How are you? I missed your face.
I'm good. I miss you too. I'm getting so much out of all of this and listening to everybody else here. I kind of got stuck a little bit when we got to the weekly plan sheet, which is no surprise. And even figuring out what my perfect day would look like. But I'm still back processing how much of my life I lived in the conflicted part of director sequencer when I'm really a creator unifier.
Mm-hmm.
So that, working through that and being aware of that has just changed so much in my life. And I just wanted to let you know that.
Oh, good. Honey, I'm so glad. You know, we have a role that we take on, or a relationship that we're in, or whatever, and we end up in that overly adapted space. And when we kind of get good at it, for lack of a better term, we get used to it, or we get really good at it, then it just kind of becomes something that people identify us by, and then we're kind of stuck in it.
And when I look at him, I wasn't in the healthy part of it. I was in the conflicted part of it.
Exactly. Where did my camera go?
I don't know. What
did I just do?
Great picture.
Yeah, that was a great picture.
Thank you. It's an older one. It's from like 2013. But it was a professional photo session, so of course it looks great. because, you know, airbrushing. So, using my camera just totally threw me. Just 1 second here. Let me regather my brains. So no, I totally get it though, because we kind of find ourselves in that space, and the more people identify us with that, the more that we dive into it, it keeps us in that conflicted piece, which just makes everything worse. It just makes everything worse, and it is staying in that conflicted space is automatically an energy drainer, automatically.
Yeah, and it's been making me really sick, and it's interesting because there's something that I've worked on for a few years, and it's really sequencing, and that's where the person who's got me involved in thinks that I'm, you know, that's my superpower, and it's like, not really. And it's now that I'm aware of it, it's causing me a lot of anxiety because I know that I need to get out of it. So it's a good thing.
So start, if you haven't already, start making those lists of what are the things that deplete me, and you know what are the pieces of this relationship, of this project, what are the pieces that really do energize me, and energize you not just in the moment, but energize you afterwards.
Yeah, that was huge too. The introvert extrovert part was amazing because I love being in crowds. I love being around people. I love being the center of attention. I love speaking. I love all that stuff. But then when it's over, it's like, I just want to crawl into a hole. And I've been judging myself and beating myself up, wondering what is wrong with me? Why all of a sudden, you know, I was on and I loved it. And now I just want to crawl away because that's what I needed to do, was to do the self-care part. And just being aware of that's who I am. I'm not an extrovert. I'm an introvert who likes to be around people. So that was huge too for me.
That's a huge game changer. I mean, I found myself last March, April, I was done. I was so exhausted all the time. I was sick all the time. Not like cold and flu sick, like can't function sick. Can you guys relate to that? And I just, you've had some health stuff going on too, honey. And so it just, it's a huge takeaway when you realize, because when you're in that space, Ronnie, don't you agree? When you're in that space, you feel like you have no say.
Yes.
Like you have no control. and it's such an ugly space to be in. And one of the things that I was so blessed with was that awareness of, I have more say in this than I think I do. I actually can start to change this. But again, it's like the chaos and the clutter and everything else. You don't just wake up like that. It took a lot of years to get there. So you've got to start to create that system of being able to kind of pull yourself back out of it, find what is healthy for you in your personality, in your day-to-day operations, in your goal setting and achieving, in your surroundings, in your relationships, and then start to kind of baby step that out. And that's been, even though I promoted this as, you know, the goals and, you know, setting and achieving goals, which, yes, that's the information that I wanted to share. That's what it really dials down to.
Yeah.
That's what it dials down to. I'm so glad you're in the group, honey. I miss your face.
I am
We've got to
too.
get together. I haven't seen you in a million years. And
I know. And you know, it's funny as you talk, I think, God, we have a lot of similar stuff in our background.
Oh yeah, we do.
So yeah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to get together. It'll be fantastic. So have you scheduled your bonus?
No, not yet. No.
Okay, make sure and get that scheduled, honey. Because everybody gets, even though we're doing this, everybody gets you get a bonus session, you get a bonus session, everybody gets a bonus session.
I'll do that when we get out.
Booked, as long as you have it booked by next Friday, otherwise then maybe you don't. So
it's only it has to be booked by next Friday, not
it has to be held by next Friday. So
okay.
April 12th is the last day I'm holding them, because April 15th my 6-week course launches.
Okay.
So that's why. That, and I have another 5-day challenge coming up and some other things I'll tell you about at the end of the call.
Okay.
So awesome. I'm so glad you're in here, honey. I appreciate you.
Thank you for doing
Okay,
that.
we're down to Stacy and Christy. Do you guys have a question at all? And if you don't, it's okay. I swear I won't pressure you. Christy, what the heck? Come on. What do you want to know?
Well, I was saying I really don't, but I do have one thing. I don't know quite how to verbalize it, but I've been struggling some with whether I'm a unifier or a creator, and I think I'm actually really a creator, not a unifier. I think I've just overly adapted in the unifier area. But regardless, either one of those, I think, affect this tendency in me, which is I have so many, well, this is really a lot creator. I have so many ideas and so many things that I enjoy and things I don't enjoy, like housework, which is,
Yeah, if it looks like
death
that,
to me.
what talks like work, we're out.
Yeah, so I just have trouble. I get into this space where I have so many things I know I need to do, and they're all right in front of me, and I do none of them. I just freeze because, and how do you deal with that? I become completely overwhelmed, I guess.
Okay, so let me get a little bit more specific. Get some more specifics from you. When you talk about overwhelm and freeze, is it procrastination? Like, you need to do it, like housework, and you just don't want to, and you'll go find something else to do? Or is it genuine, I have 900 things on the list and I'm one person, holy crap, what do I do?
It's more procrastination than the other, but it's a little of both.
Okay, so you're gonna love this. This is also part of the 6-week course, but I'm gonna give you the mini course right now. Have any of you guys ever heard of the procrastination, what's it called? The procrastination cure, the 18-second procrastination cure.
I'd probably never get around to it.
This is why I love you. You're awesome. Okay, and who's familiar with Mel Robbins and her 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Okay.
Nope.
So here's the thing. I love Mel Robbins. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 doesn't work for me. It just doesn't. Her big thing, because here's the kicker. We talked about this. She's a director.
Directors can
so for her to go
tell you how to fix it really easily.
She'll do it. I won't. I'll go 5, 4, 3, 2. Ooh, squirrel.
Yep. Yep.
But this procrastination, the 18-second procrastination cure, and I promise you, in the group when we study, I'm going to give the guy all the credit. He's amazing. I just can't remember his name right now. But this is the one thing that really, really kind of helped me get unstuck. And here's what it is. And those of us, especially those of us that are right brainers, this is what we do. Okay, left brainers do stuff because it needs done.
Yep. My husband is like that.
Yeah, right brainers do stuff because there's an emotion attached to it. That's what right brainers do. So here's the thing. This is what I learned from him, and I started utilizing this. And I will. I'm going to tell the whole story of my experience with it in the group because it's wicked insane. It is so awesome. But here's the little teeny tiny bit. So instead of just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, rip off the Band-Aid and go do it like a left brainer, those of us that are right brainers, here's what we have a tendency to do. When we procrastinate something, we're thinking about the process. We're thinking about, here's what's in our brain. We're thinking about scrubbing the toilet. We're thinking about cleaning the garage. We're thinking about doing the computer work that we hate to do because it's not a person. Okay? So here's what I want you to do. When you are faced with something that you need to do, that whether it's left brain, you just don't want to do it, it doesn't sound like fun, it sounds like work, whatever that looks like for you, just take a few minutes, kind of get yourself centered, take a deep breath, close your eyes, and I want you to feel, right brainers, feel what it's going to feel like when it's done. Don't get stuck in the process. Don't get stuck in the work part of it. How's it going to feel when it's done? And then take about 10 seconds and say, oh my gosh, it's going to feel so amazing when I get XYZ done. I am going to be so excited when I get this done. I am going to be so excited when I get this done. I am going to be, okay, punctuate every single individual word and just repeat it. I am going to be whatever, and it's your wording. So it's like, I'm going to be so happy. I'm going to be so relieved. I'm going to be so proud. It's going to be amazing. Whatever wording you want to use, it doesn't matter, but it's repeating it over and over and over again with the result. When this is done, when this is complete, when I post this online, when I do this Facebook Live, when I whatever you're putting off. Here's the thing. Within less than an hour, there is something in us internally that triggers, and we will almost feel compelled to do it.
I love that.
Test drive it.
Yeah.
Test drive it. Because the thing I chose is something I've been putting off for years. Didn't want to do it. Did not want to do it. It would have taken me 20 minutes. Didn't want to do it. Walked through his process. Did everything that I knew that I needed to do and sat there for a while and thought, yeah, it didn't work. Because that's the reason I wanted to investigate it, because I wanted to prove it didn't work, because I do those things. And sure enough, about 30 minutes later, I'm in my office working, and I'm just like, I have to go do this thing. I have to go do this thing.
Wow.
I freaking did it. It was insane. And I've been using it ever since. I am the worst procrastinator in the world. The worst. So I use it all the time. I use it all the time. All the time, all the time. The reason my office is this organized and clean is because I use that all the time. It's going to feel so great when I clean out that cabinet. It's going to feel so amazing when I get all my office space done, because I have stuff everywhere. I get really visual when I get in that creative space, when I'm in, diving deep into that creator and the strategy starts kicking up. Then I'm writing things down and putting things everywhere, and it gets so overwhelming that I have to bring it in and create, bring the chaos in and tone it down. So does that make sense?
Yep.
So yeah, try it. Try it and post in the group. I want to know what you guys think, because I told you, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm probably gonna be going live almost every day in the group still, because not like we have been, obviously, but just to pop in and say, hey, this popped in my head. I want to share it with you because I love this group. I love you guys. I'm so blessed. I'm loving it. So hopefully that helps.
It does.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Stacey, do you have? Oh, I'm sorry, Christy. I didn't mean to interrupt. I apologize.
No, I was done.
Oh, okay. Sorry. It's a creator thing. I get excited and then I start talking. Stacey, do you have any questions? If you do, that's fine. If you don't, that's okay. But I want to make sure that you have the space to ask a question before I switch gears and wrap this baby up. Oh, you're on. Stacey, hi.
I am. I'm super unfamiliar with this app, so can you hear me?
Yes. I can hear you, honey.
Awesome. Actually, yeah, I can hear the feedback from Janae's phone. We're together. Anyway, I do have, I guess, a question, but I was reluctant to ask it because it seems like something that's going to take much longer to answer. But I have been just so amazed at the ahas I've had since I've been listening to you. And I'm 55 years old, and I have been for 18 years doing a job that probably causes me to have to be an adapter or adapt things to, a lot of the sequencing and the, I'm very, very strongly came out as creator unifier and have been working in a real, kind of tedious paperwork kind of job. That is ending as of today, and I'm so excited. And I just want to know, how do I take this knowledge and avoid getting stuck again?
Okay, repeat that again so my brain can absorb all of it.
How do I take what I'm learning and avoid getting stuck again? My hunch is continue learning, first of all. But outside of that, any just kind of general.
Okay, that's an awesome question. That's an awesome question, because and again, this was just scratching the surface. And so for many of us, especially those of us that lean into that creator, we shiny object ourselves out of just about everything. And so everyone says it takes 21 days to form a habit. I'm just going to be honest. They've done the science. It is 66.7 days? It's a really left brain answer, but it's like 66 days to be able to take a daily activity and turn it into a habit. And that's everything. It doesn't matter what it is. You're not going to be able to change that DNA, change the way that your mind works, unless you're able to dive it's over 2 months. It takes over 2 months to do that. Yes, and we're going to talk about it in a minute, what the 6-week course looks like. That's going to be insanely beneficial. Finding a way to be accountable to somebody. Keeping those AM and those PM routines are also going to help you buy into that belief that you can have these pockets of intention and that they can be successful for you. So some of the smaller things that we talked about throughout the week can actually be really big things if you get those consistent first. make sure you're doing your morning and your evening routines. And I know there are many of you that are, I did the same thing. I'm a go big or go home gal. I'm like, oh, I got this now. Morning routine, evening routine, this. Okay, I got it. Woohoo, I'm going to change everything. I'm just going to tell you right now, you're setting yourself up to fail. Preach. But what I do suggest is kind of like we talked about with the morning routine. You know, you only get 5 minutes, and then when you can step into it without having to think about it, you can do 10 minutes. And your cat is so entertaining, Christy. It's so distracting. All of us that are creators are like watching your cat, including me, which is not
I'm sorry, he left. He's
no,
the new.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I love it. I love it.
He's the new kitty, so trying to give him lots of love.
Oh, how fun. So that whole 5-minute mentality, take that to every single thing that you've learned, because not every single person is going to be a part of this 6-week course. And so, you know, get really good at that morning and evening routine. Get it to where it becomes gospel to you, and it's something that you just do because it's in your DNA. And when that happens, what's the next thing that you want to implement? Don't think that you're just going to rip the Band-Aid off and that everything's going to change overnight. Do baby steps. Coaching helps. Accountability helps. And I'm going to be addressing both of those here in just a second. So I wish I had a magic bullet or a magic pill. I just don't. It's staying in that mindset of baby steps, staying in that mindset of celebrating, staying in that mindset of patting yourself on the back and noticing that change is happening. Even though it's small and it's slow, it's happening. And the small and slow changes are the ones that become foundational, that set you up to be successful in the future. And there goes my camera again. Apparently my camera just doesn't want me to be on. Anyway, does that help? I know it's not a magic pill, but does that help? All of you, it boils down to the foundational stuff. If you're willing to do the little stuff, you're going to be rewarded when you try to do the big stuff. Mm-hmm. So hopefully that helps, Stacy.
The awareness has been huge and so amazingly timely for me. Thank you.
Oh, good. Oh my gosh, you're so welcome, honey. I appreciate you being on here. So, oh my gosh, we have like 2 minutes and I have so much to talk to you guys about. Can you guys stick around here for maybe 5 to 10 minutes? Because you might have more questions. Are we good? I've got Angela at 11, so we are going to be done here in a little bit because I got to get ready to talk to Angela. So, you guys, thank you so much for being on. Those of you that are watching the replay, make sure that you hashtag replay. I'll get this uploaded. It'll be live in the group here probably within about 10 minutes after we wrap. So, I just want to close out today just by saying thank you. I mean, holy cow, I just absolutely cannot believe the response that we had. Again, there were, after I did the math, there were close to 300 people that joined this group. The ones that it's not a good fit for them, a chunk of them have left. A chunk of them are probably still a part of the group, but that's okay. Hopefully they'll find some of this valuable. And then there's a good chunk of you that are super engaged. And I appreciate that more than you even, I can't even put words to it. So as we wrap up, next steps. Here's what the next steps are going to look like. Okay, and we've got several different options. First and foremost, I do want to let you guys know, get off the damn hamster wheel. I know I've shared that this is actually going to be a series, and about every other month, I'm going to be doing a new 5-day challenge. The next 5-day challenge is on the calendar for May 13th, and our focus is going to be self-care. The reason for that is quite simple. Most of us don't really understand what it is. I actually had I've had conversation after conversation after conversation with people who are like, oh yeah, I do self-care all the time. I go get my nails done and I go get a massage and I, go to the mall shop. Okay, that's great. But those activities, one, for many of us are maintenance. And two, they're the icing on the cake. Self-care starts at a much different level than most of us realize. And there are so many things that we can do that are self-care that have a much bigger impact, not only now, but for the long run. And it's mind, body, and spirit. And if we ignore one piece of it, we might as well ignore the whole thing. So we're going to spend 5 days starting May 13th. So for those of you that are interested in getting some information on that, if you would please, I know several of you were so wonderful and you did give me your email addresses. The response was just so overwhelming. I didn't get all of them down. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm navigating this. So for those of you that are interested in being a part of my email list that is going to get kicked off later this month, so that you're in the loop, you'll get an email notification of, I'll let you know when Coffee with Krista is airing and who my guests are going to be. You're going to find out about all the challenges that are coming up when they're opened and can be filled. And of course, any courses or anything that I have that I'm going to be releasing will also go out in an email. So my effort is not to spam you. I'm not going to be one of those email lists that you get like 5 to 10 emails a week, because I unsubscribe from those. So I'm not going to do that to you. It'll probably be 1 email a week or 1 every other week when we first get started. So if you're interested, you can private message me your email. You can email me your email, Krista@idealpersonality.com. However you want to reach me, by all means, go ahead and get me your email so I can make sure that you're on the list. So the next 5-day challenge is May 13th. Self-care is not selfish. Let's see. Next thing on the agenda is we have a hashtag. We do have a hashtag GOTDHW Tribe. So as you guys are on social media, okay, that's a great way to connect with one another. And I also want you guys to know that earlier this week, I created the GOTDHW Tribe page.
Oh, nice.
Here's what it's going to look like. This is a community. It's going to launch May 1st. And here's what you're going to find in this community. You are going to find all of the videos from 5-day challenges. So they'll be accessible to you whenever you want them, because that's one of the perks of being a part of the tribe. It's a membership tribe. There will be a slight fee attached to it, but you're going to have access to all of that. You're also going to have access. I wrote all the stuff down, so I have to read my list so I don't forget anything. Let's see here. All of the 5-day challenges that are going to be archived, they're going to be archived in this group. It's going to be the only place you can get them. They're not going to be on YouTube. They're not going to be anywhere else. This is going to be the only place that you can access them 24/7 because you're a part of the group. Any other online trainings that I do that I feel are pertinent to the group, that are get off the damn hamster wheel related, they're also going to be available to you in that group. I'm going to have monthly themes. So it could be anything from goal setting to self-care to, I don't know. Here's the thing. It's going to be your group. So what are some areas that we can focus on together to be able to be the best version of ourselves? So we're going to have monthly themes, which means once a month, there's going to be a mastermind. So once a month in this group only, there is going to be a Zoom with whoever wants to plug in here, and we're going to do masterminds, and I'm going to be bringing in some amazing guest trainers. Okay, so depending upon the topic, seriously, you guys, I got some amazing people in my circle, and my friends love me, and I love them, and I go into their groups and train, and they'll come into mine and train. And so it's going to be exclusive training only for the group, only for this tribe that's a part of the GOTDHW Tribe page. Okay. And those videos will be archived, and you can watch them over and over and over and over again too. Okay. I want this to be a great resource. It's also going to be a fantastic opportunity for those of you that want to get plugged into a lot of the courses, live events, things that are coming up in the future. You are going to get special tribe pricing. Okay, so whenever I'm doing a 6-week course or whatever coming up in the future, you guys are going to get tribe pricing versus the rest of the world. Okay, let's see here, and what else do I want to share? Did I forget anything? No, I think I forgot. I think I remembered everything. So that'll be launching May 1st. Oh, I did forget something. And you guys, here's the thing. It's the community. So with that community comes that little bit of accountability and that camaraderie. It's not just me. Okay, this is all of you guys coming together and connecting and asking questions and getting feedback and holding each other accountable and cheering each other on. This amazing group that came together this last week, this is an environment that I want to create so that we can keep it going and you can keep it going, and you've got that safe place for you to be able to show up and be genuinely you as you're navigating all the stuff we're going to be navigating together. So really quick in the comments, hell yes or hell no. What do you think? I'm like way excited about this. But if you think hell no, please feel free to type hell no. I won't cry. I'll try not to. So that goes live in a month, May 1. So I got to get out all the running parts moving, and I'll probably start promoting it here. I'll just promote it the last week of April, and then we'll get it up and running on May 1st. So last but not least, the 6-week course. Who would like some information on the 6-week course? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so here's what this is going to look like. I have to have my notes, so don't forget anything. Creators, there's nothing wrong with writing it all down and reading it. That's how we don't forget stuff or get sidetracked. Okay, so 6-week course. For those of you that know,
that's my notes from all week.
You're awesome. Oh, you're awesome. You make my heart so happy, honey. So the 6-week course. Mark the calendar for those of you that want to participate in this, April 15th. So 2 weeks from today, we launch. It's a 6-week course, and it's taking everything that you learned last week and going elbow deep or deeper, shoulder deep. Okay, we're going to dive into this, and it's it's going to be a small group. Okay, this is only available to 20 people. Because I want to have the one-on-one interaction with you, kind of like I got to do today. I want to have the availability to help support you, because we're going to spend 2 weeks really, really diving into and analyzing your personalities and getting to the bottom of a lot of questions that I know everybody has. And there are many of you that are I'll just be honest, your results are still skewed. They're still skewed because we get so hyper focused on what we're good at that even though we can still get in that space of, okay, do I really like this or am I just good at it? And we tend to overthink. There are areas of Sequencer that I am really good at, but I genuinely enjoy them. I like my lists. They keep me from looking stupid. Okay, I like my lists. They help me to stay organized. There are small elements of Sequencer that are actually, they're adapted. They're not overly adapted. So there's still, again, so much we need to dive into. Because I've already had a decent sized handful of bonus sessions, and that's one area where people are still kind of pigeonholing themselves because they're not stepping into really discerning between what I'm good at and what I genuinely like to do. You can be both. Right. You can do both, whether it's natural and innate or whether it's something that's learned. It's okay. That's how our brains actually are wired to work. It's having that awareness piece of when it's depleting you. So we're going to spend the first 2 weeks really tackling that, as well as the introversion, extroversion, where your extroversion shows up, where your introversion shows up. And did I just say that right? Introversion and extroversion, where they both show up in what environments, personally and professionally. Okay, there are different environments. Different environments call on different parts of our personality. So we're going to tackle that a whole lot more than we had time and bandwidth to in the group. Because who you are professionally is not who you are at home. This may not be who you are if you're volunteering at church or when you're plugged into networking, or I mean, the list goes on and on forever. So that's also going to be a big piece of what we do in that group. Weeks 3 and 4, we're going to take the morning routine, the evening routine. We're going to take the weekly plan sheet, and we are going to tear into that hardcore, because I would be willing to bet that most of you have created an ideal week that's still going to deplete you. And there are probably things that you do on a regular basis that you may not realize you can delegate, or there may be pieces of your personally and professionally, there you go, girl, personally and professionally, of things that you've just become so accustomed to doing, you may not believe other people can do it, or it may not even be serving you anymore and you don't know it, because we are 5/6 of our brain is autopilot. And our autopilot allows us to believe that that's just the way that it is. I mean, I told that story about my client who's now one of my best friends. I mean, she had on her list that she couldn't delegate watering plants and cleaning the bathrooms.
Right.
And she's insanely intelligent. It's not like, you know, she's dumb. She's just, that's that automated subconscious piece of her mind that's like, this is what I do. This is what I do. We're going to dive into that, and we're going to just blow it out of the water, and we're going to get you on the track of not only using the information to achieve your goals, but to find a lot of harmony in your life. Because most of us, when we're in that place of stress and overwhelm, we don't have harmony.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so that's going to be a huge, huge piece of it. We're devoting 2 full weeks to it. And then the last 2 weeks, we're going to be spending on personalizing very specific tools that will supplement what you've already learned and what you're already implementing, but that really resonate with you on a deep level. When we talked on Friday, I think I shared 5 tools. That ain't nothing. That's nothing. We're going to dive into overcoming procrastination and talk about some different ways, the 18-second procrastination cure. For some of you that are left brainers, sequencers will probably do really well with some of Mel Robbins' things. There are some great things I've learned through some coaching programs with Jack Canfield and others that they're phenomenal tools, and they work very, very well depending upon your wiring and what arena you need to use them in. So that's going to be a huge topic of conversation. So that by the end of the 6 weeks, my goal at the end of the 5 days, I wanted everyone to have at least one small win. By the end of the 6 weeks, we're going to launch the 6-week online group with one medium to big goal. And we're going to share it in the group.
I like it.
And then at the end of the 6 weeks, it's something that will be achieved.
I like it.
So those of you that are interested in that, start to think of what that 6-week goal for you can be, because that will be the piece that will shift everything and move you even closer to that 66 days of, I got this. This is now part of my DNA, because that's the end goal. It's taking these changes and not just turning them into habits, turning them into your DNA. Fair enough?
Love it.
So that's what this group is going to look like. Now, I am not inviting anybody outside of our group to participate in this. This is exclusively for this 5-day challenge, because you guys have already created a community. So nobody outside of the group is going to get an invite. Nobody knows about it. This is just us. There are 20 spots available. And when this course goes live on the website, the next time I hold the course, which is probably going to be 4 to 6 months down the road, this course is valued at $997. For those of you that are in this group, it's introductory pricing, and here's why. I have gotten to know you guys, and there's several of you I'm still going to get to know a lot better. And I trust you more than anything throughout this process, throughout this 6 weeks. One, I'm grateful that you trust me to help you step through this, but I trust you to be able to give me really good feedback. What worked? What didn't work? What did you love? What do you feel was missing? What do you feel were the greatest benefits? I want the opportunity, I'm asking for the opportunity to be able to interview each of you in this group when it wraps, to just dive into the dirt and just lay it out. This is what I loved, and this is what I didn't love, and this is what you need to keep, and this is what you need to ditch, okay? Because I trust you. And for that, this initial group, this will be the only time I do this. This group is only $497 for the 6-week course, which is a little crazy, but I don't care. I'm doing it anyway. So as soon as we wrap up, I'm going to post the links. Here's how you can participate. Here's how, those of you that want to be able to take advantage of the group, this is how you can do it. As soon as this goes live, and there goes the camera again. I swear, what did I do to deserve this? Okay, so once we wrap this up and I post it live in the group, there are going to be 2 links that you can utilize. There will be one link that you can either take care of the $497 with a credit or debit. Also through that link, you have the opportunity to take advantage of PayPal credit. For those of you that aren't familiar, I love PayPal credit. It is amazing, especially for those of us who are entrepreneurial and we don't have the set paycheck coming in. Okay, so PayPal credit, when you qualify, you do have to apply and qualify through PayPal. But when you qualify, they allow you up to 6 months with 0% interest to pay it back in any way, shape, or form that you choose. So you can do a little here, a little there. You can wait for your tax return. You can wait 5 months and 28 days and pay the whole thing. 0 interest. It is an entrepreneur's best friend. Okay? The second link, for those of you, maybe PayPal credit isn't an option. Maybe you don't want to utilize credit. Dave Ramsey people, I totally get it. I will allow you to set up 2 payments of $274. So your initial, if you click on the second link, and I'll let you know which one is which, okay? The second link will charge your card $274, and 30 days later will charge the balance. Okay, so that's how you get to be a part of the group. Those are the links that you can utilize to lock in your spot. Once the 20 spots are gone, they're gone. Okay, at this pricing. Once the 20 spots are gone, they're gone. And we actually, honestly, we're down to 16 already. So there's 16 spaces available. Do you guys have any question at all about any of the content, anything? Oh, you know what? One thing I did forget to tell you. Here's what it's going to look like inside of this group. Mondays, and I'm going to actually hold these in the evenings now. I'm going to do them probably 6 o'clock Mountain Time. There are a lot of you. I pay attention in this group when the videos are getting watched. 80% of you are watching the videos after 5 o'clock Mountain Time. Mm-hmm. So this group is going to be, we're going to do a live training Mondays, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. We're going to do the same thing Friday, 6 p.m. Mountain Time for a weekly wrap-up. But I'm going to be going live in the group throughout the week, Tuesday through Thursday, at a variety of different times, just based upon my schedule. Those are my client days. And I'm going to be sharing specific information that we talked about on Monday and how to implement it for the different personalities, so that you've got that extra leg up of, okay, well, I'm a creator. I need to know this. So I'll do a creator video. I'll do a unifier video. I'll do a sequencer video, and just for, you know, what's and giggles, I'll do a director video. There are some of you that are directors in here, and you do need to know this, okay? So that's what the group is going to look like. I am so excited to get to really dive in with you and help you make the changes that I know that you guys have been wanting to make. So any last minute questions? Because I get to talk to Angela in about 10 minutes. So any last minute questions that I can answer before we log off today? And I see, Callie, I see that you sent me a private one, but it's not letting me open it right now, but we'll jump on Facebook and talk, okay, hon? So no last minute questions, are we good? Did you guys find value in this today? Did this help today?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. Ronnie, thank you so much for being plugged in here today too. I know I can't see your pretty face, but Ronnie, thank you. Stacy, thank you. Janaea, thank you. Angela, thank you. I know you've logged off. She's probably got some stuff to do before we jump on here in about 10 minutes for her bonus session. If you haven't scheduled your bonus session, get it booked. Get it booked. I'm excited to get to talk to each of you and answer more questions, do what I can to help you. And I'm also looking forward to seeing a bunch of you in that 6-week online group kicking off on the 15th. So with that, you guys, we're going to log off. Thank you so much. And as always, you guys, go be blessed in your success, okay? Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.